Good morning, guys. What's up? I hope you're having a good day. So in today's video I'm doing something a little different. I don't have the truck with me today. I have the girlfriend's car. It's a 2009 Nissan Versa and her brakes have been really bad lately. They've been pulsating. You got to push the pedal all the way to the floor. So in today's video I'm going to do kind of like a DIY how-to video on how to change the brakes on a 2009 Nissan Versa. So stick with the channel or video, whatever you want to call it. Also, if you just stumbled upon this video, if you haven't seen my old videos, my name is Jonathan Legacy. I make videos on more things now, like my truck, the build of the garage, and just anything automotive related I like to make videos on. So if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and like the video, share my videos, subscribe to the channel for more content. So without further ado,
Wizard, what do you see as you twist the tiles beneath? All I feel you see.
so what I have here is just your regular, I guess, rotor that's going to fit there, and just your regular ceramic pad. I was going to go for the 6-piston Brembo with the slotted and drilled rotors along with the carbon ceramic. However, I figured for this type of vehicle, that application was not necessary. Of course I'm kidding, but let's get this car up and get this wheel off. Jack stand. I need a jack stand. Let's try that. Okay, so I have I don't know how great the lighting is, but I have the 2 jack stands put there. Now I never, I'm sure you could, but I never really trust these all that much. So I always just put my jack, no pressure, just kind of sitting there in case these do fail for whatever reason, fall over, whatever. It's still kind of resting on that jack there, so the car shouldn't move too much. Before taking this off, if any of you people are doing this on your Versa and you want to know what the studs are for the wheel, it is a 21 size driver for that. So that's that. And I mean, they don't look that bad, but I mean they are vibrating a lot when you hit the brake. And the pads, I don't know if you can see them there. They look pretty thin, so I might as well change everything while I'm there. I have the parts, so why not? Alright, got the phone here, just give me some more light. You got to remove this bolt here, and then there's another one, the same thing underneath. I'm just using a 9/16. Not perfect, but it works without stripping it, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then there should be one right here, same size. And then this should technically just come up. Just like that. Now, keep in mind you're going to have to compress your cylinder or piston a little later because to accommodate for the larger brake pads. However, that's easy. You just grab a C-clamp or whatever you can to compress this here. You don't want to hang it by the brake line, so I just went ahead and hung it on the spring up there. That's completely fine. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is take off these bigger bolts in here. Let me get some light. In there, those bigger bolts right there to take off. I believe that's a 17 millimeter socket. Also, keeping in mind, these bolts might need a little bit of persuasion to take them off, so don't be afraid to, use a little. Thank God I'm a beast. I just cracked that. Of course, this bolt's got to be stiff all the way through, or else I'd be taking it off with my fingers. And it's also got to be 3 feet long. And there we have it, the world's longest bolt. So I'm going to go ahead and take that other one off. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that other one off, and then this whole assembly will come off. As you can see, it's already starting to become loose. The whole thing's shaking around. Just about another 45 minutes and this bolt will be off. Probably would have been a better idea to take the bottom one out first. That way I wouldn't have to hold the whole thing. So for future reference, if you guys are doing this, if you guys are watching the video before you do this, take the bottom one out first. Do yourself a favor. I'm just not that smart, so I like to make life complicated. More exciting that way. Alright. Wow, these are bad. So I just want to show you guys exactly how bad these were. I don't know if you can see exactly how thin that is, but yeah, that's just not safe, boys. That's not safe at all. So we're gonna go ahead and change it to these. Nissan, if you're watching this, don't put bad brakes on your cars. Put better brakes. You don't want to kill people. That's just dangerous. In theory, should be able to pull this off. I might need to use a hammer. Let's see if I can. No, I'm just going to use a hammer to try and take these off. Let me just go and get that. Alright, take two. I have my hammer. Okay, so finally got it free after a lot of hammering. Those can get pretty rusted on there depending on where you live. My neighbor actually brought me some of this liquid wrench. Put some of that on. Let it sit for a couple minutes. Beat on it a couple times and it came right off. So do yourself a favor, get yourself some of this before you start something like that. Alright, just an example here of how hard and how long I had to beat on this thing. That's what she said. But yeah, to get this off, quite a few marks. You can see there the liquid wrench did its job, got in behind the rotor there and helped me. But just to show you the difference of a good rotor and a bad one. As you can see, the pad chewed all up inside of here, made itself a groove, and this is what it should look like. So I'm going to go ahead and put that rotor on and continue. As far as changing the old brake pads go, it's just a matter of just literally pulling them out. Examine them, and as you can see, if we put it next to a good one, it's quite a bit of difference there. And that's how I almost killed my girlfriend. But no, but seriously. And these just go in place of those, so you match them up. As you can see, that's going to be the wrong one, so we're going to go ahead and grab the right one. We're going to see which one is the right one. That's looking like the right one there because it's the same direction as that one. And then you're just going to go ahead and slide this one back in. You can see there's little slots, and this one just slides in there. I'm going to put the camera down, but just so you know, that's how you. Alright, so I have the new pads in there now. We've got some nice thickness on there compared to the old pads. As you can see, the one side's completely gone, and I don't know if it's just biased to the one side or if there's something wrong with the brakes. But yeah, the one side's definitely a lot more worn than the other one. But what the hell, you know what? Change it all, put all new parts, and we'll go. Currently in the process of just putting this assembly back on. Again, it's going to be the reverse process pretty much. You're putting those 17mm bolts back on the back. See, we have the new brake pads and the new rotors. Doesn't that look a lot better? But yeah, just a matter of putting the old screws back on. Now the assembly it's gonna seem really loose, but once everything's all tightened up and the wheels on, this will have no problem rusting its way back onto the hub assembly. So just go ahead and put these back on. Now don't tighten them until they're both snug, so that you don't have more pressure on one side than the other, I guess. I don't know if that's actually a fact, but I'm making it one. So just, you know, get the one to where it doesn't move anymore, and then put the other one, tighten the other one in all the way. Again, keeping in mind that I've never done this before. Well, I have, but in high school. And obviously I watched a couple videos before doing it, but it's pretty simple. And you gotta think of it this way too. Nissan wanted to charge my girlfriend $600 to do this. Now, keeping in mind, a lot of that is labor. But what I paid for 2 rotors and 4 brake pads was about $150. So that just goes to show you how much dealerships really gouge you on the price of labor. Because now, keeping in mind, a lot of people don't have the tools, don't have a garage, don't have the capabilities to do this type of thing. But for those of you that do, I suggest that you go ahead and try and do it yourself, because you'll save yourself a lot of money in the long run. It's really not that hard, especially little things like this. I know when it comes to brakes, you want them done right, because it's one of the most important safety features of your vehicles. You need to be able to stop. It's not hard to do this job right. There's no torque specification. It's just pretty much get it as tight as you can get it. It'll do its way of rusting its way back on there anyways. And also, jobs like this may seem intimidating, not having done them the first time, and you also got to keep in mind that the first one's going to take the longest, but as soon as you get the first one done, the other one's going to be that much faster. It'll cost you about half the time, because you've already done it once, you know how to do it again. Alright, that should be good enough. Another thing I want to mention is you probably will need to, wow, this is actually really dirty. I should clean this, but back to the point. You're going to need to compress your brake cylinders, most likely, to accommodate for the larger brake pads. So what you want to do is see this little filler tube right here. That is for your brake fluid. So you just want to take that off, because you don't want to build pressure. You want to allow that brake fluid to rise without any added pressure. So just take it off and put it back on when you're. So I ended up using get some light going, a tie wrap to keep my brake pads, or sorry, my brake piston cylinder up here. That's probably your best bet. Because when you're hammering on your rotor, and if it's just hanging on your shock, it's going to fall off. Not because I know, because of personal experience, but you know. I suggest using a C-clamp. I don't have one. Should probably invest in one. I got channel locks, so I'm going to try to use that, see if it's going to work. Wow! That actually worked pretty good. Okay. So like I said, while you're doing this, you want to remove that cap up top, so that you're able to compress this without building up pressure in your lines. Because if you build up pressure in your lines, you're going to have a bad time. Just like that. You want to tighten these, but again, there's no real torque specs for these. Just tighten them tight. They don't have to be over tight, just, you know, because they weren't all that tight when I took them off to begin with. Like the only thing that was stiff about them is that they were a little rusty. But so the rotor here, as you can see, is still kind of sitting loose in there, but that'll tighten up when you put the tire back on. So there you go. There's a full brake pad and rotor change. The only difficult part is taking the rotor off, but like I said, do yourself a favor, get yourself some liquid wrench. Do not forget to take that cap off and put it back on afterwards. So yeah, I'll do the other side. We'll go for a test, and we'll see if the brakes work or if I die. Alright, everything's back together. Let's see if we stop. Wow, these stop nice. So before, what used to happen before is you'd hit the brake, your foot would almost go to the floor. And it was because of the reason I showed you guys before, was that brake pad was pretty much all the way finished. And like I said, I'd never done this before, so I wasn't sure if this was going to work. But I had confidence in myself, and it paid off in the end, because I saved myself, well, saved me and the girlfriend, $450. So just goes to show you, by doing a little bit of research yourself, gathering a couple tools, pays off in the long run. You might say, well, you know, I don't have those tools and I don't feel like going out and buying those tools. Well, going out and buying those tools is cheaper than still paying for the install. So there you go. And in case you guys are wondering what tools is needed, or what tools I used a jack, a couple jack stands, a torque wrench, 21mm socket for the Versa, that is, if you're doing brakes on another vehicle. Same concept, might be a different torque socket. a pair of scissors to cut the tie wrap, a hammer to beat off the rotor, a couple of wrenches. I use a 9/16 for the little bolts for the caliper, and then for the bracket, a 17 mil socket or whatever socket, wrench, whatever you want to use. I suggest a C-clamp, but if you only have channel locks, that'll work to compress the cylinder. And yeah, some kind of driver to take off your lug nuts. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a quick little video, not on the truck this time, something to change it up. Just changed the brakes and decided to make a video, just an informative type video. So yeah, if you guys like, oh by the way, don't forget to put that cap back on for your brake fluid, because yeah, you're gonna have a bad time. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and like, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Little I guess glimpse into the next video. Remember last winter how I talked about the Plasti Dip peeling off of my winter set of wheels? Well, I've got a plan for these in the next video.